Morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to our Crucifixional live stream. Glad to have all of you beautiful people in. Wow. I'm the book is out. It's been doing marvelous. I think it's great. I'm so humbled and thankful to all of you beautiful people who have participated. For those who don't know, our first book is out called The Way of the Warrior Saint, How to Live a Crucifixional Life. You can get it on Amazon. If you visit warriorsaints.org/book, you will see a little bit about it, and you'll have the direct link to Amazon. Just a very quick heads up on Amazon. I'm irritable because I don't understand how Amazon works, but the price of the book is not, it's $17.95. I mean, that's the price of the paperback. But for whatever reason, Amazon is moving it around. I don't understand how that all works. At any rate, if you search in there, you can get it for the regular price. We appreciate you people. Anyways, the other funny thing about it was they say you can get used copies for da-da-da-da-da. You know how Amazon does that. There are no used copies. The book is just released. So I don't get how it works, but it is what it is. We thank you guys for getting it. Another very quick announcement is that this Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, I've been very blessed to join my fellow classmate, my brother priest, Father Evan Armatas, on his podcast, Orthodoxy Live. And what this is on Ancient Faith Radio is every Sunday night he does this. The guy's amazing. They call in, ask him any question, and he gives it a shot to answer the questions from our perspective of faith. And he invited me to go. I said, absolutely, I would love to. I've done it before, and it was a blast. So you can join us. All of the info is below there on how to get to Orthodoxy Live. I would also encourage you to make sure you watch that or listen to that pod every Sunday, but also get Father Evan's book. He's got the guy's amazing, unbelievable. He's been very gracious to me. I can't, I don't know what else to say, except that we will now roll into our lesson. And I've been thinking a lot about it's a hyper volatile time, right? We all know that. And everybody's consumed with politics and so on. And Jesus drops a bomb on us today in the gospel that we hear from chapter 12 of Mark. And so to set the context, the scribes and the Pharisees in the Gospel of Mark, they're irritable with Jesus because he's saying things that are revolutionary to their stronghold on the psyche of the people. And he says to them, they ask him when they come up to him and they want to tempt him. They're going to okay, let's see what this guy's got. And in Mark 12, they bring him a coin, money. And they said to him, all right, teacher, we know that you are true and you know everything and you're the wisest one. What is it telling us? Are we supposed to give our money to pay taxes to Caesar or do we not? Should we not pay the taxes? Hey, Caesar is not our king. God is our king, right? So should we pay taxes to him? And Jesus, obviously, being the Son of God, he says the following. I'm going to read it to you, and Greg will pop it on your screen here in just a moment, but listen to it. Why put me to the test, he says. He's calling him out I know what you sneaky people are up to. Bring me a coin and let me look at it. So they bring him the money. And like our money that has, a quarter has President Washington's, bust on it, and in God we trust. And some of the quarters now have one of the different 50 states on the back. You know how they look. They have inscriptions. And they brought him one, and he said to them, whose likeness and inscription is this? And they said to him, Caesar's. So what was on that coin? An image of Caesar, the king of the Roman Empire, the emperor of Rome. And Jesus said to them, render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And Mark ends that pericope with, and they marveled at him. They were amazed by him. So he's saying, give to the government the things that are of the government and give to God the things that are God's. I'm not going to let you, scribes and Pharisees, try to trick me into, getting involved in something that I'm not supposed to be involved in, right? That's his whole message. And so we know what it means, but does it mean more than it means? Okay. And that's what I want to explore this morning, just briefly. Obviously, what he is saying is this is money. You have to pay your taxes. The government that you live in, by force, especially in the Roman Empire, can take your taxes, pay your taxes. And likewise, you better give your tithes to God, tithe to the church. Absolutely, that's what it means. But it goes a little bit or a lot bit beyond that. And I think what Christ is really telling us there is that there are things that belong to the world. And it's okay to give them to the care and the trust of your earthly leaders. And there are things that are divine, things that are above and beyond, things that belong to God. And don't you dare take these things and give them to your earthly leaders to decide. And I mean, there's two levels to that I see. And the first is like, there are certain things in our world, in our country. Let's talk about the United States for just a brief moment. There are certainly things that we give and trust to the care of our president, our governors, our senators, our congressmen and women. I mean, like, there are certain things like taxes. I mean, as much as, I hate to pay taxes. I mean, I guess we all hate to pay taxes. Those are things that are decided by our government, the military, right? Like, they establish a military force and establish our borders. Those are things that belong to the government. Like, how do we relate with other nations, right? With the Secretary of State, and how does he or she deal with, foreign relations and all that kind of stuff? Those are things that are appropriate and necessary that our government take care of for us. Marriage, abortion, I mean, those are God issues, right? Those are not things that belong to the state to make those decisions for us. I mean, think of marriage as a sacrament, right? I mean, that's the idea of marriage. You can get married civilly. You can have a civil union for tax purposes and people to come together. Many people marry, without outside of the church. They just need the legal paperwork. Great. That's great. Do that. Change your name, Social Security, all that kind of stuff. But the word that's a sacrament marriage, right? That means, like, I have been at thousands of weddings. In fact, we celebrated a beautiful wedding last night. I didn't marry anybody. God marries them. It's the presence of Christ in between that man and woman that makes that marriage a sacrament. That's a God thing. We don't need to let the government tell us what marriage is and how to define it, right? I mean, you see how that works? The same with abortion. Like, it's a hot topic, obviously a hot button topic. But that's a human life. From the moment of sperm and egg together, conception, that is life. And even, by the way, science has verified all of this. I mean, there's fascinating studies about how it becomes an organism from that moment, and therefore it is life. It's just, but that's our issue, right? And so to have that decision being made in the world, it's not, it doesn't belong to the government. It belongs to God, right? That's a statement, especially as warrior saints, that we have to be willing, and I would even say ferociously defensive of, that there are issues that belong to God, that belong to his teaching given to us through the church. And those are things that, look, we can't relinquish them. Like, it's one of those things that we say, well, it's not my fight. Well, it's bigger than me. And, well, it's already been decided. Look, Jesus is telling you pretty clear, give the things that belong to the government to them. Give Caesar what's his due. But the things that belong to God, they belong to God. And it's up to you, he's telling us, to make sure that we give them to him. All right. So now I said there were two levels to this. The one is, that basic level of, like we were talking about, the things that the government does and the things that belong to the church. The other one that I think is perhaps even more important is your ethics. Your moral system, your moral code, your values, what you believe, right? And I don't mean what you believe as far as who is the best team in the NBA. I don't mean what you believe as far as, how much taxes should we pay? Those are not things I mean. I mean the belief in your mind and in your heart about your values, your ethics, and your morals. Who gets to define those? Who or what is the reference for what we believe? Now, what we've been tempted with today is to allow Caesar to define our moral code and our moral system. I mean, Caesar's trying really hard and has really, unfortunately, for the last, I would say at least 50 years, maybe probably even more, has been a parent figure. The government has been a parent figure for us. And with that, they are giving to us and forcing upon us and guilting us and shaming us and canceling us to accept their ethic as truth, as the morality that we should abide by. And I think what Jesus is saying to us is, I know what Jesus is saying is, son, daughter, I decide what is moral, ethical, what your values are. God decides. Do you understand that? And so when I know you understand that, right? So when we think in terms of morals and values and ethics, it's important for us, and I used the word earlier, I'm going to use it again, to be ferocious in defending that my belief system, my values, my ethics are not defined by anyone or anything outside of God himself, outside of Jesus Christ, our Lord, who gives God's ethic to us, right? And it's important that we remember that, because look, it's very easy to let that slip and say, oh, well, the world is saying all this kind of stuff. Be careful. You got to be on your toes. And remember, what and I would say who defines our ethics and our morals can only be God, not anyone else in the world. Give Caesar his things, but give God your heart and your mind, right? To be defined and molded, formed by his ethic, by his value system. Now, obviously, this is a very simple thing for me to say in a few short minutes on a vid. However, it's sometimes challenging to try to figure out. I mean, what is that? All right, teach that to me. I'm glad that you're looking there. I'm glad that you're hungry for it. I know, excuse me, I know that so many people there's a renaissance. I can feel it. We recognize the chaos of Caesar. We see it. We don't want it. We want to come back to some semblance of normality, of health, and people are hungry for it. And they recognize that to do that, we must be spiritually focused and minded. And we call that becoming a warrior saint. So I want you guys to know that we're here to help you do that in your search, in your struggle. I mean, we're doing it in our own lives, right? The Warrior Saints team is doing that. We invite you to join us. I mean, really, it's a simple thing. It's just simple. Join us. There's no other way to say it. There's nothing else I need to say. And we're here to help you do that. Visit us at warriorsaints.org. Now, when you get there, you're going to see two things that are really fun and exciting that we want to talk about and share. One of them is, as we said at the beginning of the episode, our new book is most recently, our new book was launched. Get it today. We want everyone to get it. Get it. We're so excited about it. It's fun. Like it's a pretty simple, easy read written for general audiences. It is not deep. I am not that smart. It's just here's some practical wisdom from Scripture, from God himself, on how to live our lives and our ethics and our morals, not according to Caesar, but according to Jesus Christ and his teachings. The second thing you will see is the Way of the Warrior Saint library, which you can subscribe to. It is an online teaching video library about how to live a crucifixional life, how to be those ferocious warrior saints who respect and honor and abide by the things that are Caesar's, but give proper due, proper homage to God himself, right? So it's just there. Join us. We ask you, as always, please do us the kindness, shares, likes, subscribes, ring the bells, all that good stuff. We appreciate that stuff. It really does help us. Remember, this Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, we will be joining Father Evan Armatas on Orthodoxy Live. You can see that info there on your screen, or you can just visit ancientfaith.com and find his pod. It's fun. It's a call-in show. So what that means is you guys can call in. They will blast the number. You can call in and speak to us directly, ask us questions. We'll have a conversation. We look forward to it. It's a blast to do it. Thank you. Be safe. Have a great day. We will see you again tomorrow for our Crucifixional live stream. Have a great one. Be safe. Remember, your ethics, what you believe, what is valuable to you, should only come from God himself. If you keep that in your mind and in your heart, you're on your path, on the beginning of the path to becoming a warrior saint. Love you, beautiful people. Until tomorrow, as always, keep walking on the way of the warrior saint.